I'm Edie Lush. I'm very pleased to be in the Hub Pavilion here in Davos, joined now by Beth Comstock. Thanks very much for coming along.
Thanks for having me.
Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer for
That's
GE.
right.
And you've got an innovation barometer. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, well, so we're here at Davos. This is actually my first time at Davos, so I'm taking it all in. And one of the things we felt would be important to kick off the new year would be to do a pulse check around the globe, talk to business leaders around the globe, and find out what they think is happening with innovation. So we did that, and we've kind of unveiled it here at Davos as well. And some interesting insights from the innovation barometer. Basically, we found that most business people are optimistic that innovation is gonna rule, that it's going to help get their countries back in line, and it's going to create jobs. So there's a real sense of optimism in general. But some interesting insights in kind of how that innovation is going to roll out. In many countries, especially more the developing countries, a real shift in how innovation happens, and that it's more collaborative. So not one company has the answer. You've got to work with governments. You have to work increasingly with small business, small and medium business, which we thought was interesting. And that even in the most innovative high-tech countries, the sense that technology on its own isn't going to solve everything. We need creative people. And the people who can help spark the idea and take the technology into new ways. So we thought that was interesting. We've been sharing it. It helps us understand as we innovate in different countries. For example, innovating in India for India is a real priority for us. And so understanding that the business leaders in India believe that you need to collaborate and that you need these partnerships with government and small business helps us understand the kind of model that will work when we innovate in India.
So how does that mean? How will that change how you do work in India, for example?
Well, we've already invested quite a bit in what we call reverse innovation, meaning taking technologists and marketers and saying, okay, what's a healthcare problem in India? One was screening for heart issues, and you needed a low-cost, high-tech scanning device.
Right.
And so they created one that cost $500, simple to use, one button on, one button off, and created a whole new opportunity to scan people who otherwise wouldn't see. They don't have time to go to a cardiologist. They need someone who can just see, is their heart okay? And if they have a problem, then send them to the cardiologist. And then you step back and you go, okay, India probably isn't the only area with this kind of rural issue in healthcare. Where else can we take it? So increasingly we see that happening, and so that barometer helps us just understand, culturally these are the things the businesses in India are thinking about, and that we'll probably have a good chance of doing this kind of innovation in a culture that's ready for it.
So tell me how your experience or how your innovation barometer differs, for example, from India to China.
Well, for a country like China, they look at innovation on a huge, massive scale, investing for kind of big systematic problems, and not thinking that the answer is going to necessarily come by partnering with small business, but much more big universities, big government programs, and going after some of the big systemic issues like clean technology, like healthcare. So it's kind of interesting. You've got two emerging markets in India versus China. India seeing a much more localized approach. China thinking much broader, big scale, kind of combining a system approach.
And any surprising differences with how you see things in the developed world, for example?
Well, in terms of how business leaders see their own country versus other countries was interesting. So most business leaders felt the U.S. Continues to be kind of the most innovative country, followed second by Germany, also third by Japan, and fourth by Israel. And then when you kind of flip that on its head, the Japan felt it just had sort of put a higher bar for itself, was feeling much more challenged in terms of what it takes to remain innovative. Even though the world sees them as one of the top 3 innovative countries, they kind of responded to, it's really hard. It's really hard what we've got to do. And so I think that was kind of interesting. Conversely, a country like Saudi Arabia, huge enthusiasm by their business leaders that innovation is going to transform the society. Not a lot of recognition around the globe that Saudi Arabia has the resources and the focus needed to innovate. But that optimism is very encouraging.
Pretty fascinating stuff, Beth. Thanks very much for stopping into the Hub Pavilion here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.